Welcome to Caseware Quick Vids. This quick vid will demonstrate how to grant contacts access to an entity and how to grant contacts access to content within the entity. We will start with granting contacts access to the entity. Once a contact has been added, you can grant them access to the system by assigning them the Entity Collaborator role on a specific entity. Assigning the Entity Collaborator role grants a contact the permission to create activities and upload files on an entity. To perform this operation, you require the permissions permission on an entity, typically an owner role on an entity or an entity's admin role. First, navigate to the Entities app. Select the entity and click Share. Click the Contacts tab. If you linked the contact to the entity when they were created, click the Show Only Assigned Contacts checkbox to filter the list of contacts. Use the checkboxes to assign the Entity Collaborator role. Click OK. If this is the first Entity Collaborator role assigned to this contact, then they are now granted access to the system as well. They can now log on to the system. If you left the password field blank, then an email is automatically sent to this contact providing them with all the instructions to log on. If you predefined a password for this contact, then you must provide the contact with your Collaborate URL, their specified email address, which acts as their username, and their designated password. The contact now has access to the entity and can create activities and upload files. They cannot access any contact within the entity unless they are assigned the Content Collaborator role. To perform this operation, you require the permissions permission on the item type, typically an owner role on the item or an entity's admin role. By default, no content is shared with contacts. Staff must explicitly share their activities and files with contacts. They must 1. Make their activity or file accessible to contacts, and 2. Assign the contact a Content Collaborator role on their activity or file. These steps can be done while you are creating an activity or file or afterwards. For example, we can perform both steps while creating an activity. Select the entity where you want to create a new activity. Type the text for your activity. Click Change to modify who can access this activity. The Share Settings dialog immediately appears. Select the Contacts Can Be Given Access to This Item radio button. Click the Post button to post your new activity. The Sharing dialog automatically appears after you post. Click the Contacts tab and use the checkboxes to assign the Content Collaborator role to those contacts you want to share with. Click OK. You will now see an icon that highlights that this activity has been shared with a contact. The same steps can be performed when working in the Files area. This concludes the quick vid on collaborating with contacts. Thank you for watching Caseware Quick Vids.